The City Council meeting for tonight, March 27th, 2019. We will begin with an invocation by Councilmember Phillips and then have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Isom.
Our gracious Father in heaven, as we come before you this evening, we ask that you would be with us and provide us the wisdom, the guidance, and the strength to do what is in the best interests of our wonderful community in our decision-making and deliberations. Father, we thank you for all that you have provided to us in our community in the way of additional moisture, wonderful individuals who live and work here, and the opportunity to raise families and live in this great community. We also thank you, Father, for our first responders, for all they do to provide a safe place for us to reside. We ask once again for you to watch over us and give us the wisdom to make the best decisions that we're capable. We ask all these things in thy name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Let's all please stand, join together and pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you both. We will now move on to our agenda order approval. Are there any items the council would like changed from the posted agenda? If not, can I get
Move to approve the agenda order.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll now move to council business. Yeah. All right. Then we'll move to staff comments. Are there any? Oh. Okay, we'll move to the business agenda with our public comment portion. If there's anyone here that would like to address the council, now is your opportunity.
Could be a short meeting.
Oh, this is on a roll. Okay, we'll move to the.
I think Carter has something he'd like to ask us. But
Good. All right, perfect. Carter doesn't want to make a fool of himself again.
You had a-
My lesson last week.
You had a question about a development up in.
Perfect. We will move to the public agenda with our the consent agenda with item number 1, approval of minutes dated March 6th and 13th, 2019, approval of bills dated March 25th, 2019, approve vicinity plan for Fiddler's Mountain Estates, PUD, approve bid from John Norton Excavating in the amount of $316,114.85 for the sewer, water, and storm drain utilities on 1600 South, the VA access road. And approve an emergency MOU with Iron County.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll move to the action agenda. Item number 6, consider an ordinance approving no parking areas on 400 South in front of South Elementary School.
Move to approve.
second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call. We'll start with Councilwoman Hartley.
Aye.
Aye.
I have a question on the motion. May I do so?
Sure.
My only question is, should the intent of this property change or anything, is this grandfathered back out into be a regular street? I mean, if the school were to move, build a new school in 15 years or 20 years or something, I'm just making sure that it's not no parking forever and always if the street designation changes.
Yeah, we just amend the ordinance and strike that language out.
Thank you. Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Consider an ordinance amending the general land use plan for property located at 200 West, 1425 North from commercial to high-density residential. Who wants to add something? Do you have anything that you add, Dad? Do you have any questions? Is there anyone here for that property?
Dallas Buckner, Go Civil. Does anyone have any questions for the general land use?
My only comment more than a question is just to reiterate what I said again last week. Because of issues we've had in other developments that were directly next to commercial, I want to make sure at the time that these townhomes are sold or rented, that people know that there is potential commercial development happening right next to them, and not to come back to the city afterwards complaining that they didn't know there was going to be a commercial building there. That's my only concern.
And aside from showing that on the final plat, I mean, this is kind of a unique case where the land surrounding it is all owned by the hospital.
Right.
But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
It's not like there's going to be a gas station or something probably,
Right.
unless the hospital sells that property.
right.
Okay. Thank you. Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we'll start with Councilman Adams.
Aye.
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 All right, consider an ordinance changing the zone on the property located at 200 West, 1425 North from general commercial to R3.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we'll start with Councilwoman Hartley.
Aye.
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 All right, consider approval of the vicinity plan for the 1425 PUD.
Move to approve. Second. Dual.
All right,
Jinx.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, consider an ordinance amending the general use plan for property located at 1805 North Blend Highway from low-density residential to high-density residential.
Dallas Buckner, Go Civil. So this is the general land use amendment and then the zone change. This is for Sycamore Phase 4. There was some discussion on it last week. I think Kit was going to provide some maps and also the sketch plan that we submitted last Thursday. I don't know if you guys had a chance to review that.
I don't remember having to do that. So
I don't remember getting it.
I didn't get it. Didn't get it.
Well, anyway, we did take it through sketch plan and we have a vicinity plan that we're ready to submit pending that this goes through. But the purpose of that was just to show that we're not maxing it out as R3 as it's currently planned.
So, but it has to go to R3 because of the duplex. Is that right?
It's because of the fourplex.
Fourplex, excuse me.
The rest are duplexes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we'll start with Councilman Adams.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, consider an ordinance changing the zoning on property located at 1805 North Blend Highway from annex transition to R3.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, we'll start with Councilwoman Hartley.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Item number 12, consider a resolution amending the city's banner policy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Last week I presented a small change to the banner policy. After going over this in more depth this week, I've got another small adjustment to that. I've given each of you a copy of this, and the second one down that says final change proposed tonight. I've just added so that the language would say, during any given time period, each applicant organization will be limited to a maximum of 40 spots. And here's the change, unless additional spots have not been reserved. And that way we don't run into the danger of having a lot of empty banners that aren't being used.
I think that's a good change, and I appreciate, Danny, you listening, certainly to me. I know I had most of the questions last week about it. I think that gives the option, hopefully, for the Parks Department to have some ability to do what they need to do, and then also gives us the opportunity to make sure that we have activities that we can promote in the city when they are needed and not have empty brackets on the street. So thank you.
Thanks.
And with that, I would make a motion to approve this change.
Second.
Okay, we'll start with Councilman Adams.
Aye.
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 Okay. Yeah, you don't get to go far. Okay, item number 13, consider a resolution to enter. Why did you make this one so long? Consider a resolution to enter into a participation agreement with the Utah Governor's Office of Energy Development, allowing OED to offer and administer Utah Sea-Pace District within the city limits and perform all duties described in the participation agreement.
You did great.
Thanks, Danny. Thank you for that title.
Any questions from last week?
I think so.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we'll start with Councilwoman Hartley.
Aye.
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 Okay, item number 14, consider using broker service for healthcare insurance.
Okay, so again, thanks for letting us kind of squeeze this in last week. I sent you a decision paper on Monday. Unfortunately, half my brain was gone because she was indisposed and not able to contribute. All the references to staff in there are me and Natasha, so she's the other half of my brain. So here's the other portion of the information that I should have put in the decision paper, but didn't because she was unavailable, and she's smarter than I am. So the three bidders that we have, they will also receive a percentage if we name them our broker. And that percentage will come based on their book of business with the insurance provider. So the compensation listed, and there's a discrepancy between the compensations. It's not as big as it looks. Those percentages typically, in our experience, range from 1% to around 3% of their book of business. So you can imagine if they have clients in similar situations as ours that are paying large sums of money for healthcare premiums, 1 or 2% quite a bit of money. We are not looking to engage a broker fully. We're looking for some a la carte menu items. We're looking for their help to do some screening of the underwriters' calculations and estimates, and also help if we need to go out to bid. So we're just looking for basically those two services. The brokers, these three brokers that we've talked to, offer a wide range of services. A really popular one right now is they all want to sell us their software or access to their software on data analytics. And that's supposed to be the way of the future to control costs, is by analyzing the data and seeing exactly where we can control more of our costs. The staff, Natasha and I, have recommended we use Morton. The price that you have in your decision papers from Morton is based on their lowest menu price. They've told us that if we want something a la carte off that menu, which we do, we want less services than they offer on their traditional menu for their lowest service, they can adjust that price down lower to meet the services that we're asking. I know this is a rushed decision. This time of year, these decisions tend to get hurried because of our timelines to get through the budget process and get a tentative budget to you by May, so you can consider it and vote on it by the end of June.
So what in reality is the dollar amount, roughly? Your best guess?
My best guess with Morton,
Yeah, I mean,
probably be
or we can
about,
just say difference.
I think we could probably get down to
Percentage.
$12,000 flat fee with Morton, with no broker percentage or anything else.
with no broker percentage. Okay.
So, and the broker percentages, they'll pitch it to you by saying, hey, that's the charge we go back to the insurer for, but we're paying it
The
one way or
insurer is
the
going
other.
to turn it back on you.
Yeah, the insurers aren't eating costs.
So what's the percentage increase? So we have something to compare.
The healthcare percentage increase from Select Health
Instead of
currently,
19%, what would it be? Would you guess?
we're trying to get it down somewhere around 12 to 8%. We hope. I don't know. It depends on what the bids come in at, but those are the target ranges we've been talking about.
So how do you, if you're taking a la carte from one vendor who's proposed a full price, how do you know you're looking at the same apples to apples from all three of the potential insurers brokers?
Well, we want the same services no matter what.
Right.
So we do have a track record with two of the brokers, Levitt and Morton. We've had good services from both. We do know that recently our work with Morton has saved us somewhere in the neighborhood of $40,000 a year on workers' compensation insurance. So that's something that we've dealt with them before, and we have some history with them. Last time we had a broker, it was Levitt, and they did a good job for us as well.
Where's Morton out of?
Morton's a large company. Their office is locally in Salt Lake.
I'm still confused though of the prices that were in the decision paper. Were they all based on the same level, or were you taking a la carte from each of those?
They're all based on our discussions with the individual brokers. That's what they've said. Hey, this is what we think we can do it for.
So why
And
wouldn't
it's been hurried. It's been a hurried process to get information from them and get it to you.
so why wouldn't we go with the lowest price?
The only thing that we have to recommend is our history and track record and our working relationship with Morton.
Okay.
If you want to go with the lower price, that's fine.
No, I'm just wanting to know the
Yeah,
justification.
no, if the
that's
council
all.
says, hey, city, go with the lower one, we're okay.
I want to do what's best for the city and for the employees. That's what I want to do.
Come up with.
I mean, if it's going to take us to spend a few thousand more to save dollars and get good benefits for our employees, that's what we need to be doing.
So a lot of this is speculative based on the broker's speculation on what they think they can get in the market. But the Morton folks have estimated that they can save us probably 6% off the current bid.
That's substantial.
So 6% off of the 19% increase is far going to exceed the $20,000.
Yeah.
If it comes to the 20, I think we can probably get that down.
And they feel confident about that, what, because of their book of business and their connections?
Because of their experience, because of their underwriters, because of their knowledge of how health insurance renewals work.
The other two companies, have they given estimates, or they don't think they can save anything off the 19? Are they in the same ballpark, or?
The second company, and I can't remember the second company's name off the top of my
Nielsen
head.
Benefits.
Nielsen.
MBG, Nielsen Benefit Group. Yeah, thank you. They have told us that they think they could probably get us down 11% off of the renewal quote. Seems fairly aggressive. They do have a good rate structure, but we don't have a history with them. We've talked to them a few times in the last couple of weeks. Levitt has indicated they think that there's possibility in going out to the market that we could see some better rates coming back. Off the top of my head, I cannot recall the percentage they thought they could save us.
So are you proposing we have all of them? We give them a scope, or you just say?
I'm proposing we
don't
hire
we-
Morton and go with Morton and run with it so we can
Rather
get
than hiring all three.
everything turned around and back to the council in time to get the budget done.
So there's not, so you actually have to hire them to then move forward.
Yes.
Yeah,
One of them.
that's what we're recommending, and a lot of it's based on our business history with Morton and the rapport we have with that agency.
And so you and staff think that's the best option because you've stated that they, based on their track record, what your history is with them, and that they've already given some indications they could save perhaps 6 to 8% off of the current proposal from Select Health. Is correct?
Correct.
Well, then I would make a motion that we move forward with Morton as the insurance brokerage for looking at our next year's insurance premiums for the city employees, based on this recommendation and the research that you and staff have done.
I'll second that.
All in
I have a
favor?
question before we
Yes.
vote. I'm still bothered by this a little bit. I mean, it's almost like gambling. I mean, you've got to spend the money and then see what you're kind of locked in, and they can come back with whatever they want almost, right? And then you think, well, they're only going to save us 5%. Then you're stuck with saying, well, now we're going to go back and hire somebody else to give us an estimate. I mean, I don't know.
Well, we already have the quote evidently from Select Health, and it's 19.9%
Right,
increase.
I got that.
So we wouldn't have, if we have to go out to bid, we wouldn't have time to do it twice.
So why didn't we start this sooner?
Well, we got our renewals earlier this month. We've tried to work with our existing provider to get those renewals down to a lower level. We've been unsuccessful. We've spent some time working with these three brokerage companies to get an idea of what we think they can provide us. And now we're here tonight.
Yeah, this healthcare's in the end.
We have a motion. We
But-
have a.
But we're not locked into hiring them no matter what they come back with, right?
But we lose the $4,000, and then we have to hire somebody else if we're not happy with their number. Is that what it's
Yeah.
amounts to?
That's what it amounts to. Mhm.
Much did you say?
$4,000, 4,000.
4,000.
Mhm.
You have a motion. You have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I guess.
Okay. Item number
It's a tough one.
15, Historic Downtown Economic Development Committee discussion.
Chris McCormick, I'm here with the Historic Downtown Economic Committee. And we've got a slide presentation if we can pull that up. If not, I'm gonna have to really reach into my mind and figure out what the heck I've got on that slide presentation. So
That would be entertaining.
it would be more than entertaining. Be rather embarrassing. But it's been a while since we've come to the city and given you an update. And so we thought it was time for us to come and provide the mayor and the city council with an update on the things we've been doing. And we also have a few requests that we would like to present and get your feedback on.
Can I ask a question while we're doing this? It was brought up to me, and I think it's a good question. This is more for perhaps Tyler and perhaps the mayor than anyone, is because there is a request part of this discussion today. Should this come to a work meeting prior to this meeting? I mean, they're going to make a presentation of some things we've been talking about. And we've been working on this for over 2 years now, and we think it's time to bring everybody up to date. But I just want to know the protocol for all this.
Considering I don't know what the request is.
All right.
I mean, without knowing what the request is, I
It's
can't answer said
only a
question.
couple of $1 million. No big deal.
I mean,
Wow.
No, I don't have any.
I forgot to put that in there.
yeah, until I actually know what the request is, I can't answer your question.
All right. Thank
Well,
you.
I think it's fair just to go ahead and present if you're good with that, and then you can advise me accordingly.
Sounds good.
Fair enough. So can we go to the next slide? So the idea behind the Historic Downtown Economic Committee is everybody is appointed by the mayor, everybody that serves on that committee. And our objective is to make recommendations to the mayor and the city council on ways to improve our downtown and hopefully enhance things. Oh, you want to trust me with that? Push. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so we thought we'd go ahead and review who's on our committees. We have Michael Barr, Mindy Benson, Mark Barufi, Jenny Hendricks, Alan Jones, Michelle Jorgensen, myself, Scott Phillips, Jonathan Smith, Maria Twitchell, and Evan Vickers. So it's a good group of people to work with. We've been involved in some things in the downtown. So we helped sponsor this event that SUU Community Education put on downtown, and it was a great event. Had 3 or 4 bands and a lot of different vendors and that type of thing, and it was a great thing. And our committee members themselves actually contributed $4,500 plus to help put this event together. So it was a very good event and a very positive thing, I think, for downtown. We've even had some business owners say it was one of the best nights they've had in a long time. So I think it was a very positive thing. We all know that Scott's been very involved in decorating our downtown and getting a crew together, and including our downtown committee. And we're very supportive of that and want to see more of that type of thing take place. And then we've also helped with some projects. We did a study with Better City and raised a total of $23,500 for the study to be conducted. $18,500 of those funds came from the committee and local businesses. So I think you can see that we've got a committee that's really committed to making positive things happen with our downtown and being involved. One of the things we want to do is on April 27th, it's a Saturday, we'd like to do another downtown cleanup. And there's a few things that we could use the city's help on. So the first thing we would like to ask is if we can get a street sweep for Main Street, Center Street, and 100 West. That's the area we want to focus on the downtown area.
About that on Saturday after the cleanup, or?
Well, I think the last time we did it, the city actually came the day before. Well, it's a Saturday though, huh? Friday's probably tough. So maybe afterwards. I don't know what's best.
After.
After? Okay. So that'd be great. And then we also want to see if the city could provide shovels, rakes, garden rakes, trash bags, and gloves. I think you all did that in the past and helped us out. I know that Maria's office got a bunch of the little cheap gloves or something. I think we got them from the Parks Department that brought out some shovels and rakes and what have you. We asked everybody else to bring their own as well, and we will do that again. But not everybody brings them. And then we don't know if the city has a power washer or not. Is that something the city has in the way of equipment? Maybe you all know or don't know.
Yeah, we can, if you give me this
Yeah,
list.
well, can
this
you
is all
email
stuff
us
we
this?
can
I'm just going to leave it
Oh,
with you
perfect.
guys, so you
Okay.
can have it and he can email. I'll just let that you have that flash drive, so no
Okay.
problem. And then provide some gray paint for the curbs and green paint for the benches. So a few years back, we had a few of the fire areas that our red painters got a little carried away with and extended the fire zones and created some real grief with our stores
They
downtown.
just like painting red.
They just wanted to paint the town red. I think they thought it was the wrong event. And so that was a problem. But anyway, so there's a few areas that, and maybe the city needs to be there to designate that for us, or the fire department. I don't know who is in charge of designating those zones.
So was that paint removed or was it?
So no, it was painted over with gray paint, but that gray paint's chipping off, and now you see the red paint coming through again.
What if we sandblast it and get rid of it?
That might be a good idea. So,
That would be a great idea.
and then the other last thing on that list is just help us promote this cleanup, whether it's on the Facebook pages or whatever the city has to.
On the benches,
Uh-huh.
we're thinking we had those powder coated
Oh,
a couple of years ago. Do you still want to paint them if we just had them? powder coated?
no, if they're, no.
Maybe we take a look at them and
Okay.
see what they need.
Yeah, these are just recommendations that came from some of the people on the committee. So I haven't personally looked at those real close. I took a few pictures the other day, which we'll see when we get there. But
Chris, I think if you paint it, I think you'd want to just repowder coat them. I don't think you'd want to try to paint them.
okay,
Yeah, you at
well,
least
I
wanna
don't think
remove
they're
them.
real bad. I mean, I haven't, the ones I took pictures of, I only took a picture of 4 of them, but the ones I took pictures of, they look pretty good. So we just a case by case basis. All right, the next thing is an upcoming project. So we're trying to work in harmony with the NACO group, which I think all of you are familiar with. Are you all familiar with that group?
I'm not.
Okay, so there's a group, it's a National Association of Counties, and they went back east somewhere. Was it Iowa?
Mhm.
Were you involved with that?
I was.
Could you explain that a little bit more since I wasn't involved?
Well, it's a county initiative, but they're working with, we were selected one of 7 counties in the United States to participate in various projects for creative placemaking in communities. And Iron County was selected, and Mike Blake was our lead on that, Commissioner Blake. And we're working to try and create a cultural corridor of some type between the university on 300 West to Main Street, that 3-block corridor on University Center Street, whether it's a series of shops, stores, amphitheaters, street banners, whatever it is, to create a connectivity between the university and downtown. And that was the project we presented at NACO. And so it's just been evolving since then. And we're not in a competition, but there's 7 counties around the United States. And we're the only, well, no, there's one in New Mexico, but we're the only other one in the West that was selected to participate in this.
So we think it's a very positive thing, and we've been looking at the idea of doing murals or trying to preserve some of the old murals. A few of them have been covered up with stucco and other things downtown, and we've been doing some research, and murals are something that, believe it or not, really bring people in, and it's an interesting thing. But there's we can get, that's a whole nother subject. But at any rate, there's one here for Lund. It's an old historic billboard that we want to replace and work with NACO on. We already have the wall that's on 100 West, right around the corner from Pastry Pub, so that they are willing to let us put that on there. And so Maria's office is working on a potential grant as well as some funding of their own to help with that. So I think that could be a very positive thing. It's an area where, because of the nature of those paintings, it's something that we think people would sit at, take their pictures, and share those around and help put our brand on it, not Lund.
I was going to say, as long as it doesn't have off-premise advertising.
Oh,
that
no,
was
no,
our
no.
One problem before with the whole mural thing, it just can't have off-premise business advertising.
Oh, no, it won't have any businesses.
Perfect.
We'll put the sign, none of your business.
Yeah, that
No.
works.
Okay. Okay. And one of our requests is we ask that these benches that are right by the curbs be moved back away from the curb and put up against the buildings. And the reason for that is that it's twofold. One, when the trash cans get full, sometimes they're smelly, sometimes there's flies, that type of thing. The other thing is as you can see in 3 of the 4 pictures, the cars park right in front of where the benches are. So your view is of a bench and not really of the community or watching people walk by or anything like that. So we'd like you to consider that if you would. Another request is we'd like to put in 6 bike racks downtown, and this map indicates where. And the objective is to try to make our downtown more bike friendly. And it's kind of a chicken and egg thing. Which goes first? Do you put bike lanes on the street or do you put the bike racks in town? And it's kind of at a point where we've decided we just got to make a decision and do something. And probably the easiest thing to do rather than paint all the streets is put in a few bike racks and get started that way. So we'd ask you to take serious consideration of doing that. And then we also, when Roger Brooks was here, he did that study. And we've been looking at all the studies that have been conducted on downtown and trying to find the best parts and the things that we think are most applicable and the easiest to do, and the things that would make the biggest difference for our shops and drawing people downtown. And so one of the things that Roger Brooks talked about is when you can see, like in the far left picture, when there's a series of these blade signs, you can see what's down there and it kind of calls to you to walk a little further and look. But if you can't see, people aren't as likely to walk down there and explore. So we'd like to explore the idea of helping businesses to get these blade signs, maybe offer a partial match to help fund it, with the caveat that they would have to be in business for at least 2 years. So we don't want to have an incident like we did with the signs in the past when we funded those signs, and then a year later that business is out of business and we helped fund something that is no longer there. So we want to be careful of that. And then a few years ago, there was the renovation program that the downtown offered through the RDA, kind of a matching program. And most of the businesses that took advantage of that did far more than just the match. So it was a positive thing to help with that. So we'd like to take a look at that again, if you don't mind exploring that. And then, so these are the needs that we've identified. The benches, trash receptacles, we'd like to see if we can add about 10 more. And we'd like the trash receptacles kind of where they are, out there towards the curb. That makes sense that way, but not up against the buildings.
Where would you put them?
So we haven't identified the spots yet. We just wanted to see if we can get approval first, and then we'll go and help identify those if that's.
We do need.
Sounds like a lot more trash.
We need to move south on 200 down towards 200 south, and we need some on University. There's only one on University right now, and that is right around the corner from Boomers. There's nothing near the pastry pub. There's nothing near Centro. There's no trash receptacles there whatsoever. And I've had complaints numerous times from business owners that saying, they're coming into my place trying to use my trash receptacle because they have any place to put it. So I think we can look at that and identify that and work with, obviously, Public Works or whoever for the placement of them.
You bet. And then another proposal was flower pots. And so, you know how you've already done the hanging baskets through town. We're not asking you to buy the pots, but some of the store owners have said that they would like to purchase the pots, but have the city maintain them and be willing to pay a fee. And I don't know if that's something that the city would be amenable to. I know that could be maybe a can of worms. Maybe it's not. I really don't know.
Where the city's already watering the other pots, it doesn't seem like it'd be that much more to hit those.
Well, and that's what we were kind of wondering, but if they would pay their own fee to have that maintained, then it would help offset the cost. And that way we can get a little bit more flower pots and things to dress it up a little bit more in our downtown. And then we already talked about the bike racks and the blade signs and the renovation. So, and then, so our big request is a $10,000 annually to be used to help with the following items: to develop downtown events, business recruiting, research, and charrettes on a case-by-case basis if we needed to do something along that line. The source of the funds could either come from RDA funds or municipal TRT, or I don't know how the city's structured on your budget, so maybe I'm not asking the right questions, but anyway. that's a possibility maybe. And then going forward, the Historic Downtown Economic Committee would be focused on economic development, engaging in business development and recruitment efforts, working with Danny's office, marketing downtown, trying to develop strategies to entice more people to come and experience our downtown area, and then helping out with the opportunity zones. We see that as a real positive opportunity for our community to possibly get some pretty cool developments in our downtown area. So
I think it's great. Thank you for doing that, Chris.
then the last thing we just wanted to ask if there was any specific items that the mayor or the city council would like the Historic Downtown Economic Committee to be addressing. We're trying to support you all and your efforts, but sometimes it's good to know what's on your mind.
One of the largest feedback items that we always get, at least in my 9 years of experience of working on downtown projects, is the rest of the businesses in town that are not located in the downtown. They say, why is the city helping just the businesses downtown, but they won't help us on 200 North or wherever it may be in town? I hear that every time one of these gets out in to the public. Several business owners will call and say, where's my incentive, or why are they not helping us?
Sure.
Why is it just focused on, the businesses in the downtown area?
So there's a couple answers to that. One is that we're looking at expanding the downtown area. We haven't proposed that yet, but we're exploring possibilities for extending that area out a little bit. The other answer to that is that if you look at a lot of economic studies out there, if you have a dying downtown, you're going to have a struggling community. And so there's a really good need, strong need, to make sure that our downtown is a vital, thriving area, because when people come, they want to see those historic areas.
Yeah, and I understand that. I mean,
there's a lot of studies out there that back that up.
Yeah, that's something you got to sell.
Well, and I understand that. We're not trying to take anything from anybody else, but we think it's something that certainly.
I think you can do it. I mean, you're, the chamber. I mean, you have businesses from all over town, are members of your chamber. I think it's just kind of a educational tool or learning experience for them.
Yeah. Well, we want everybody to win. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Right. I know.
Really.
True.
So.
I think also it's in the original charge that we were to help find ways to bring economic viability to historic downtown.
Right.
And so that's what we're doing, or trying to do anyway. And I suppose, Councilman, if we need to look at other areas of the community, we'd have to sit down and look at other ways to create the appropriate committees or commissions or opportunities for those other parts of the cities to participate. But we do offer incentives to manufacturing firms and people when they move into the community. So,
well, we are the downtown committee. So, I mean, it's, working at Providence Center for downtown committee just doesn't seem to make sense. It's too much of an animal.
But I think that's a good question. And we do
I
hear
just
those.
brought it up.
Absolutely.
No, that's fair. That's very fair.
But I think in, one way, I understand the principle. If the downtown is thriving, even if, expanding, doing whatever, that we may be able to get businesses to move there that are, say on 1400 North, and I don't know, I'm just throwing something, but move to the downtown area. I think if it's, the potential, rather than have a bunch of vacancies.
Sure.
Downtown too. So I think the overall principle is great. I just brought up that one comment I hear. I've tried to, use the tools that I know about the historic downtown, and that I've attended several of those sessions at National Leagues of Cities in Boston and some other places I went to that, I get it.
Good deal. Well, thank you all. Any questions? Yes.
A little feedback for you.
Sure.
The cleanup project.
Uh-huh.
That's something we can facilitate with staff. And do you want us to communicate with you about,
Who's the point person?
yeah.
That'd be fine. You can contact me.
And some of the proposals in there for programs, we would need to develop those programs a little bit more, put them in writing, and I guess the best way to do it, and the way we would need to do it, is to bring them individually and have the council vote on them, whether they want to do that program or not.
Okay. So would it be best for a couple of us to come meet with you and kind of walk through that process so we understand what the proposal needs to look like, so that we're not going to keep coming back and forth? Is that does that make sense?
We can help move the proposals forward so they can get in front of the council and the public for a vote.
Okay.
And then the council can vote yay or nay. We want to do that or we don't. We can help work some of those proposals forward.
Very good.
And then we can get with you on the cleanup stuff. That doesn't sound like a big deal.
Okay, super.
Chris, question on the red paint where they went a little wild with it. How many lineal feet are you talking about?
I think most of it's there on University there. It's just in front of those shops. There's a section of those that the shop owners complain about.
It's just if you try painting over something, it just starts looking hokey.
Right.
Well, it's starting to look that way.
That's why sandblasting is a great idea.
Yeah.
If we can do
Mask
that.
it off with some duck, where you don't want to, and just, I don't know if the city has a sandblaster or not, but.
Well, I don't know either. I'm guessing.
Maybe it's a rental of one.
Well, you got that great big thing going down the road with the teeth. You could just, I'm just kidding.
But maybe it is a rental of something, but that's something I think we could discuss. I would say on the cleanup, the reason that we looked at spring is the last two cleanups we've done over the last 5 years have both been done in the fall. And we felt that we should do it in the spring prior to all of the guests and visitors and projects and everything happening anyway. So we've kind of reversed our thinking on that's why we're looking at doing it in spring.
Or is it too late to have this invitation for the 27th in your newsletter?
Maybe. I don't know. I gave Barbara a whole bunch of information today.
Okay. It's
So
just a
It'd be
thought
great if it could.
that would be great
we
to,
can
because it's
probably,
at the end of the month.
yeah, we can probably fit some of it in there. Do you have a time of day?
We were going to start at 9, I think, 9 a.m.
Yeah.
How about this? Scott, send me some information.
Sure
Perfect.
thing.
Perfect. He's the man.
Yeah, see how well that worked?
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay.
Great.
I'm
Right.
cleaning up because
Thank
I
you.
don't want anybody to hold.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank you
Chris.
all.
Appreciate it very
Okay.
much.
Having completed our agenda, I move to adjourn this meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
9 a.m. Yeah, on that day. And hope we don't have a
9
snowstorm.
o'clock, huh?
But we don't. Well, it's Saturday.
Oh, it's Saturday.
Right?
Yeah. No,
Terry, you should be good.
Well,
See you later. And I've spoke to him about it, but he disclosed me on the company down there that does the
Cameras.
Powder coating company called Western Powder Coating, down there on, they're on Industrial Road.